What up, though? One Pride. This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, a podcast where one pride goes worldwide. My name is Anthony Fitzpatrick. I'm joined this evening by Ryan McCluskey, which can only mean one thing. It is time for your weekly dose of college knowledge. Yes, it is the College Football Podcast. Time to combine Part 2. We were meant to get through the entire combine roster last week and take a little look at it before it happened, but as it turns out, trying to get through 330 odd players in one show is pretty tough. So today, as the combine begins in earnest with the defensive line and linebackers arriving in Indianapolis today, we're going to take a look at the defensive side of the combine, what it entails for the different positions, who's going, who needs to have a good one, who's got the most loose, the same stuff we did with the offense last week. But first, right, it's here already. We've seen a lot of news already coming out of today. The combine, obviously, more than just scouting prospects happen there. Free agents meet with teams. There's trade talks. It's outside of all the pajama games and everything. This is quite a big week in the NFL offseason, and it has begun.
Yep, as you say, GMs meet. They start discussing the future transactions. Tampering before free agency essentially will start. We've already heard about players that have been available for trade. They'll be shopping them there and then, trying to get some bites taken before they can transact. So yeah, it's a big week for those that are already under contract and in the league as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So much going on. And for the Lions, a bigger week as anybody as they look to revamp their team up and decide which prospects they're really going to go after in the draft. So that's really all we've got on the docket today. We're going to go through these defensive prospects and we may do a little bit of college news afterwards, depending on how long this takes. You all know the drill by now with the housekeeping. Roar of the Lions UK, the Discord. If you want in on that, let us know. We'll send you the link across. The main podcast was earlier this week, doing prospects again. There's been some other various bits as well. There was the HBCU Legacy Bowl watch along on Saturday, which was great stuff if you want to go back and check that out. But yeah, all that good stuff. Don't forget to like us on YouTube, Twitch, all that great stuff. We appreciate all of you. Subscribe and watch us. You really do mean everything to us. Part of Lions Nation Unite as well, so don't forget to like and subscribe to that. And yeah, we've monetized all that sort of stuff as well. We've got the feedback form. Yeah, you know the drill by now. So yeah, we're just going to dive straight on down into it, I think. As I say, we'll do news after if need be. If you've got any questions as the evening goes on, just let us know. Just whack them in the comments. It is a live today. The last few weeks we've been doing them recorded, but I thought, well, we'll do it as a live today, so you can interact with us as we go. Right, so we're going to start straight off, and we're going to work front to back, and we're going to take a look at the defensive line prospects, which kind of makes sense because they're the ones who've been arriving at the combine today as well as the linebackers. So taking a look at the defensive line, we'll do it by position. So obviously we've got defensive tackle, defensive end, and you know the way the NFL this is these days, they kind of hybrid into one another a lot of the times. But we'll try and get through the defensive tackles first. So in terms of the roster of DTs who are going to the combine, there is a few. I will get through them as quick as I can. We've got Cameron Ball from Arkansas, Caleb Banks from Florida, Nick Barrett from South Carolina, Rayshawn Benny from, in fact, hang on, let me put it up so you can see. I did this with you last week, but I've got to do it a different way for the pod while we're on here. This is going to go crazy for a moment. Where we'll go left monitor. We can see. Ooh, crazy. Here we go. Hopefully you can see it all now. So yeah, we've got Cameron Ball from Arkansas, Caleb Banks of Florida, Nick Barrett of South Carolina, Rayshawn Benny of Michigan, DeMonte Capehart of Clemson, Brandon Cleveland of NC State, Dante Corleone from Cincinnati, Zane Durant from Penn State, Bryson Easton of Tennessee, Devin Easton of Minnesota, Skylar Gill Howard, Texas Tech, David Guster from Kentucky, Grayson Holton from Oklahoma, Xavier Harris from Ole Miss, Lee Hunter from Texas Tech, Darrell Jackson Jr. from Florida State, Bobby Jamison Travis from Auburn, Tim Keenan III from Alabama, Chris McClellan from Missouri, Caden McDonald of Ohio State, Kristen Miller of Georgia, Tyler Onyedim of Texas A&M, Dominique Orange of Iowa State, Caleb Proctor from southeastern Louisiana, Albert Regis from Texas A&M, Gary Smith III from UCLA, Demonic Williams from Oklahoma, and Peter Woods of Clemson. And as of the record, as of now, the players who we know have meeting with the Lions at DT, we know Gary Smith III from UCLA we know Tyler Onyedim from Texas A&M we know Bobby Jamison Travis has had a formal meeting with the Lions from Auburn. We know Lee Hunter has, maybe a bit surprising there. Devin Easton of Minnesota has. Brandon Cleveland from MC State has as well. And I think we've seen DeMonte Capehart from Clemson. Let me just get back onto this again. We'll hide you. So, defensive tackles. When it comes to the combine, right, obviously it kind of differs depending on the position. Obviously, big difference between the nose tackles and the pass rushing types. But when you're at the combine, obviously one of the big things you're looking for, weight. You want to see a 3 at the beginning of that weight. I mean, obviously there are exceptions. Some of the more pass rushing specialists will be in the 290 to 320 category. Your bigger, chunkier, beefier run blocking types are going to be 310 to 350, but that weight means a lot. You have to be big when you come up to the NFL to deal with what you're going to do on the offensive line. And then when you're looking at the drills that these kind of guys you're looking at the 3-cuttle, the 3-shuttle, the cone, that short area quickness that you can work with as a defensive tackle, showcasing your skill of getting into the backfield, having the athleticism to do so, combo blocking if need be. That's kind of what we're looking for there with the DTs.
Yeah, as you say, the further you move into the middle of the defensive line, to anchor themselves, guys are going to be well over 300 pounds. They're going to be shorter, stouter, stockier. So, as you say, they don't have as much lateral or vertical horizontal movement. For them, it's all about burst. It's basically like, say, 1, 2, 3 steps. How well they can move agile in short periods. The cone drills, very important to them. And the bench rep. Like I say, their elite pop off the line is really important. How strong they are moving forward. We've been able to... Yeah, like I say, how they're able to pop at the initial line of scrimmage, deliver the first blow, and then fight through blocks. So that wrist, that elbow strength, like I say, the force they can generate from one of their hands or 2 hands in the ground upwards to make that initial contact. So yeah, I'm with you. Anything that's short distance, burst, or involves, like I say, the upper body towards shoulders is the most crucial events for them.
Yeah, and it's a really intriguing class that's going this year, because you look at it and there's not maybe the top 10 DT pick there that we maybe have thought in this class. There are some guys fighting with inconsistency and injury, specifically at the top. Caleb Banks is the big one. Everybody seems to love him, despite the fact he's missed basically the entire year with injury. He's a year removed from his last football, but rare traits, rare size for him. Like, guys at 6'6" who move like he does are crazy. Height is another big thing. Generally, the taller ones don't do so well. You've got to be a little stouter, a little smaller. And then you've got Peter Woods, who kind of had that very disappointing year at Clemson by his standards. Same with TJ Parker, who we'll mention in a minute. But, there are potential for guys in the first round here, but you do feel like the combine's going to be big for both of them. One answering medical questions, the other maybe schematic or whatnot. But those are the big 2 who are there. Yeah,
like I say, they're the big interior guys. Like I say, Peter Woods had a very good career. Obviously, it's kind of tailed off towards the end, but I suppose that comes as a whole Clemson D-line unit. Everyone kind of fell off, like I say, lack of confidence, lack of opportunities, a real downturn for the whole team this year. And as you say, with Banks, it's going to be how good does he look after rehabbing previous injuries. And also with you, leverage. Like I say, I don't like the thought of someone 6'6" on the inside of your interior line, because they're too easy to get under. Sense of balance, their leverage is way off. If you can get them up and lift them upright, they'll generate no penetration. And he's only 290, 295. So I think he's somewhere like that. Like maybe about 300 pound max. He's tall. He's somewhere, like say, a bit light, a bit lean. So he's got a great build for multiple positions, but holding his own on the anchor on that interior is going to be interesting to see how he pans out. I expect him to test incredibly well, but probably not in the drills that I really assign or allocate to the strength of that position.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very risky getting a guy who's coming off a year of injury, who's not had a chance to play. Like it's the toughest situation of all. But again, the league likes athletic elements these days. Sometimes it cares more about it than college tape in some cases, which is where he's going to go. And then after that, I mean, you've got a whole smorgasbord of guys here, but a lot of these day two prospects and that, it's about finding whether they're good at two disciplines. What can you do there? I'm thinking specifically of guys like Lee Hunter and Grayson Holton. So Lee Hunter, as we know, I'm on record as saying I want him nowhere near the NFC North because he's probably the best run defensive tackle prospect we've seen in absolute years, and he's just an absolute monster. For him, I guess if he wants to up his draft stock, it's proving that he can rush the passer as well, which he's not done, but those drills are going to be important for him. And then on the flip side, someone like Grace Holton, who is a pass rushing specialist, needs to show out in the drills that help his run defense show that he's got the power, the lower body strength to, bring that aspect of his game up there. But there's quite a few of these single part specialists, and it's going to be big for them to show they can do the other side as well. But I don't know about you. I'm looking forward to seeing Lee Hunter in this. I dread the thought of ever playing against him, but someone's going to fall in love with him here at the Combine.
Yeah, like say Hunter and Gil Howard were the two men on the defensive line at Texas Tech that got no love whatsoever because height would mop up all the crumbs that David Bailey left him. Like I said, then you had the linebackers coming in, and they did a lot of the dirty work. They created the opportunities for those guys, being physical in the middle, shedding blocks, creating double teams, like say filling holes, and then allowing people to flow in there. So, and with you, those kind of guys that are probably say late round 2, early round 3 onwards, for them it's about versatility. Are you just a run stuffer? Are you just a big blob in the middle that just kind of swallows up guys and just clogs holes and makes guys bounce outside? That's great, but that's only going to get you so many snaps at the next level. Like say, if you can't then, use hand movements and you don't have an arsenal of pass rush moves to win on the inside, whether that's stunting, bit of speed, a spin move, if you can't make the most of that, say that little space you have got, and then at least flush the QB out, then yeah, you will struggle at the next level, and your slot will slide if you're a bit of a jack of, if you're just a one-man, army in that sense. So yeah, a lot of it will come down to versatility scheme. Can you play in a 3-man front and hold your own still? Or when they bring in extra packages, 4-5s, where you're outnumbering the O-line, can you make the most of opportunities to get where you may be the unblocked man? Do you have the agility, the hustle, to then chase down a quarterback? So yeah, I feel sorry for a lot of them, because some of them are going to be asked to do stuff that no defensive coach has ever asked them to do, and they've probably been held back, or they've just never had the handbrake taken off them, and now they're going to have a lot to learn, especially when it comes to playbooks, defensive fronts. Some of these guys will come from pretty watered down systems.
Yeah, and like you say, it's what teams look for. They scheme them all over the line nowadays, don't they? Some of these are kind of these hybrid guys who you don't know what they are. For me, it's very difficult. For me, I think it's very simple. And if I was a scout, I think it'd be very simple. If you're a nose tackle, I'm going to look for who's good at defending the run. If you're a 3-tech, I'm going to look for a good pass rusher. I think they're making it harder than it needs to be with these guys. I don't like them doing the 40. I don't really think it shows me. It's the short area speed you're looking for.
No, it doesn't help. They're never going to be running
speed.
10, 15 yards.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need... It's that short area get-off that you're good with. You're not going to be chasing Lamar Jackson 50 yards down the field, down the sideline. You don't
not uncovered as well, like I said. There will always be someone between them and the 40 yards.
Yeah.
Make them carry a sack of potatoes when they do the 40 yards. Can they carry body weight while they're moving forward? That'd probably be a more realistic drill for Dante Corleone. That is a big, heavy, slow dude.
Oh yeah, or oh Christ, who's the nose tackle? Yeah, because there's a few big, Dominique Orange, big ass nose tackle. Gary Smith, big ass nose tackle. You shouldn't be asking them to do crazy. So this is their strength. Is there anyone here you think can really benefit from this? I mean, I guess it comes down to these parts again. Like, I look at Dominique Orange. I love him, but he's like Lee Hunter. He's a great run stopper. Can't do much as a pass rusher, but I think he's got the tools to. But I always don't really ask you to do that while you're there. But is there anyone else you're seriously looking at here in the DT group?
I know the Lions have met with, I've lost his name now, Tim...
Oh, Tim Keenan?
No, the other one. I know we've met with Donovan Easton, the lad from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like I say, he's a big, bulky interior defensive tackle. Like I say, he's good. They had a good front in Minnesota. They were good at getting to the quarterback, but they were also pretty stout against their run. So they've always prided themselves on that. So I think he's someone that could be very serviceable at the next level in multiple positions, going across the line. Bobby Jameson Travis, generating a lot of interest. Like I say, did good work on the interior of that Auburn line. Someone that we're trying to prove if he can actually, be an effort more, like I say, in the pass rush. But Tyler Onyedim, that's him. So the Lions have had a formal with him from A&M. Like I say, he's another guy that would create opportunities for Cassius Howell. He would be a space eater. He'd be physical, good against the point of run. Get limited pass rush opportunities. Tall guy, like I say, interesting build. But I think there's definitely potential there for him, and we've shown some interest in there. So yeah, maybe there is some versatility to his game, shifting him in and out of tech, like I say, and how many different stances he can work out of. So I think he might be a name to watch to see if he can come a bit out of Howell's shadow. Let's say prove that he can also get to the quarterback too if asked to do the case.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, I think it's a very intriguing DT class, and again, don't take much into the fact that the Lions have met a lot of D linemen and linebackers so far. They're the only guys at the combine, so that's the only ones we're going to be meeting. But they certainly are putting a lot into that basket. I mean, it's surprising. Like, they've met Lee Hunter as well. Like, I love it, but I don't see the vision for Lee Hunter being here, if not for keeping him away from the other NFC North teams. But I mean, it'd be one of those, you'd think about it, if you did get him, you'd be like, oh my days. Like, you wouldn't mess with that interior of a fully fit Aleem, Lee Hunter, Tyleek Williams, etc. That would be nuts. But yeah, those are your D tackles going there. We're going to take a look at the defensive ends next, and again, let me see if I can do this so that you can see, because there's loads of names. Brent and Milemarker are in the building. Hope you two are both doing well. Oh Lord, what have I done here? I've done the wrong thing. There we go. So these are defensive ends. They're the ones in red. You've got Vincent Anthony Jr. from Duke, David Bailey from Texas Tech, Reuben Bain Jr. from Miami, Jay Sean Barham from Michigan, Kieron Crawford from Auburn, Caden Curry from Ohio State, Danny Dennis Sutton from Penn State, Logan Farno of Utah, Keldrick Falk of Auburn, George Gums from Florida, Romello Height from Texas Tech, Cassius Howell from Texas A&M, Aiden Hubbard from Northwestern, Quintavious Hutchins from Boston College, Gabe Jackas from Illinois. You got Marvin Jones Jr. from Oklahoma, Joshua Josephs from Tennessee, Nigel Kelly from UCF, Malachi Lawrence from UCF, Max Llewellyn from Iowa, Anthony Lucas of USC, Jackie Marshall of Baylor, Akeem Mesador of Miami, Derek Moore of Michigan, Trey Moore, Texas, LT Overton, Alabama, TJ Parker, Clemson, Patrick Payton and Jack Pyborn from LSU, Mason Reiger from Wisconsin, had a hell of a Shrine Bowl he did, Tyreek Sapp from Florida, Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, Nadame Tucker, Western Michigan, Wesley Williams from Duke, and Zion Young from Missouri. Let me get back here and get this off. So DNs, right, again, it seems to be becoming more of an athletic thing, but with the combine, this is where the measurements really do matter. Your height, your weight, very much looked after now. Your 40 speed, very much, you want more athletic DNs in the league now. We're kind of going away from the big, massive clunkers of back in the day. And then, of course, your measurements, your arms, bits like that. Arms have been the killer of many, and arms are the topic of conversation this year amongst the top two, specifically Reuben Bain and David Bailey. Some of their traits are in transition here, but you're looking for your big athletic type DNs those days, and that's what the combine's there for.
Yeah, this is a pretty star-studded list. This feels like a strong class of like pass rushers in recent years. Like you've got a mix of guys, like you say, that are like skyscrapers. Vincent Anthony Jr., Zion Young, both like 6'6". They're tall, they're lean though as well. That speaks lean muscle, so they don't necessarily have the weight behind them. Both been productive. But then you've got stouter dudes like Bailey. Like say, got Ruben Bain Jr. Ruben Bain Jr. short, but like 270, 280 pounds. The guy is as thick as he is wide. Like you say, you don't usually put that much weight on at that height. But I'm with you. Yeah, Bain's already said, like you say, it's not testing, but for everyone's watching, Bain's arm length and his hand size. David Bailey, they're looking at those kind of measurements there where, I mean, no one ever says, wow, like say his arms are really long. It's always, oh, his arms are really short. His arms are short on the wall, like you say, and people used it against, like you say, Aiden, the pass rusher from Ohio State, like you say, Jack, went to Steelers.
Sawyer.
Jack Sawyer, who had really, really short arms. And people felt like that was a bit of a slide for him, despite being so productive. So yeah, I think those kind of things really knock you. Guys like Romello, height, good build, but very light. Like it's a light frame that needs to put on weight and mass if they're going to be eligible and work well against the runs here. A lot of different interesting body shapes and types to all these guys that ultimately want to rush the passer. But if they're no good against the run, if they can't set the edge and defend that, like say, those horizontal plays and be able to trail on them, then a lot of these guys will turn out to be kind of one-trick ponies. So you're right, their testing will be big to prove that they are able to shed blocks, wrap up at the point of contact, and make sure no extra yardages or plays slip around them, because they will ultimately be responsible for one whole side of that defensive line.
Yeah, and it's becoming a more and more convoluted position nowadays. The Lions have definitely been doing their homework on day one, let alone, alone the ones we've heard so far. TJ Parker has had a formal interview with the Lions. Derek Moore has as well, the Michigan edge. Akeem Messador, the Miami edge, has as well. We've seen news as well on... there's some more in there. Caden Curry, I know we've definitely had one with J. Sean Barham. Again, the Michigan man, they're talking about him as a potential Sam linebacker. There's a theme. They're looking at the ones going towards the top here, right? I know it's given it's high on our board, but definitely that pick at 17 is looking very much like it's in play for an edge right now. And the guys they're looking at, it seems a little consistent with that.
Yeah. If you look at a lot of the mocks these days, you'll see two names. You see a lot of Zion Young, a lot of Keldrick Falk. Tall, athletic pass rushers. Like I say, both pretty good against the run as well. Like I say, I'm with you. Like I say, these weak side linebackers that can drop a bit. Like I say, J. Sean Barham, like I say, mentioned. Like I say, guy that could drop into coverage, potentially show his versatility there. But yeah, there's a lot of guys here that have been mentioned with us. There's a lot of different skill sets that are really interesting to me here. I mean, obviously you want to address the O-line, but if one of those guys does fall, like you say, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I like Messador, but like you say, at 25, like I say, that's his biggest knock, and that's probably the biggest knock on a lot of these players is a lot of these players are quite old. Like I say, Vincent Jr., he's got a lot of these guys will be 23, 24, 25 entering the draft. Like I say, that is already seen as a bit of an elder statesman. So, but I mean, there's no you can do about your age if you've had injuries, like they just not come out of school. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Like I say, Caden Curry, big physical big end. Like I say, had a very productive year last year. Like I say, we've taken a few Buckeyes in recent years, so it's going to be interesting to see which version or which way we go down. But yeah, some of these guys I expect to test incredibly well. I think they're going to put up some absolute electric numbers.
Yeah, as I say, you do look at the 40 a little bit with it. I guess you can give some kudos to some of the bigger guys who are on the edge, who it's maybe the can crush types where you're not maybe looking for really low 40s, but then you're looking at your vertical and your broad jump, the explosive
Yeah,
get
I
offs
care
in your
about the
legs.
explosiveness.
See,
The legs are all important.
Yeah, but it's kind of more it's different to the DTs. It's more of a spring, isn't it? Like you've got to spring off your mark and be able to get off very quickly. And then obviously you need to broad jump if you going up for those screen passes, stuff like that. You've got to be able to get up in the air. But they're the ones you really look at for these guys.
Yeah, the bags as well. Like say where they're working their bags. So a lot of this is going to be handwork. How physical are they? How good are they moving through traffic? How good, are they ripping? Are they pulling? Are they swimming? Are they batting? You can't just rely on athleticism. If you're going to try run with your hands by your sides, like almost in your pockets, you'll struggle, even if you dominate in college, because the offensive linemen in the NFL are the best at handwork in the world. If you don't have your crap together and you don't have, the moves, the knowledge to be able to free yourself up, so there'll be a lot of those. So again, the bench press, but the bag drills where they're pushing, they're running, they're showing some pop, some power. So a lot of that is going to be physical work, and they're going to have to show their explosiveness in general.
Independent Aquaman says that you look like one of the Kelsey brothers. I don't know if that's the look you're going for, but you look like a Kelsey now. So
I'm going to guess this has to be Jason.
You're Ryan Kelsey. Ryan Kelsey. Oh, you look like Jason. No, you're your own Kelsey brother. RK. Oh,
I'm balding like Jason.
R. Kelsey.
I've got a beard.
That's it. You know, R. Kelsey. That's who you are. But I would like to see. You're right there. You touch on a good point for me, and this is where the combine annoys me with the edges. It's all looking for athleticism, right? There's no technique put on show really.
There are no handles in the combine.
I would love to see it where, and I'm sure you could get guys who could come in, CFL tack. You could get someone to come in. I would do a drill where I'd say, right, I want to see a spin, I want to see a swim, I want to see a rip, I want to, all those aspects that you've got in your arsenal, or that you should have in your arsenal.
Offensive tackles to hold them.
Yeah.
Try draw a holding penalty out of someone.
And it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be too physical. It's just you've got to put the move on them and show them that you can do it effectively. And I'm sure you don't have to have an NFL. You can have a guy who'll come in for a payday and do it, but I don't like the fact, because so many of these guys come into the NFL and they're athletic freaks, but they've got no technique to them whatsoever. And for me, it's a big red flag if you've got no technique after 4 years of college football. If you're just bigger and faster and stronger and you've won that way, I'd see that as a massive red flag. I don't like it at all. There needs to be more technique drills there.
Yeah. The groups are always interesting to me. Why is your defensive line and your offensive line not at the combine on the same day? You could literally just get them to work together. Is that not the entire premise of their job, to go up against each other? I don't get it. I'm with you. There should be more techniques. There should be more hand fighting. There should be more bags, machines, strap stuffed weights to their wrists. Make them actually do physical stuff. Because if you're planning to get to the NFL and just bull rush your way to sack leader, then I'm sorry to disappoint you, but
you're not going to get many.
No, because Myles Garrett has got every tool in the trick, and he's got an Adonis physique. He's the fastest, the strongest, and everything. But without technique, Myles Garrett would be nothing. Even though he's got the best physical tools in this game, he's incredible. When it comes to handwork and just being clever.
Yeah, exactly. You find it with the smaller guys generally. The guys who don't fit the purpose of the NFL are generally the better technique ones because they have to be. I kind of find it sad that it's gone that way, that you can't do both. The small school guys are generally quite technical as well because they have to be, because they've got to show out. Big school guys don't. It really, really annoys me with the edges there. But yeah, it is a really good class in general. Of course, there could be a ton of these guys. With the lack of other major positions in quarterbacks and there's very few running backs up there. Defensive end is probably going to be the most picked position. Maybe I think I would say. There's a lot of money to be made from these guys, right? Because I think there's going to be more DEs than anybody in the first round.
Yeah, it's a good year to be a defensive player in this draft. The first round is going to be 60-65 defensive, I think.
Yeah.
Apart from some tackles, the odd quarterback, and a couple of receivers, it's going to be a lot of corners, edge rushers. At least 2 linebackers.
Yeah,
and a couple of safeties.
Yeah, potentially. They'll work their way up here. We'll get to those in a minute. So yeah, that is the defensive line done. We'll move on to the linebackers who are going now. The linebackers have also arrived today as well, so we've had some idea of who's up with them. I'll just put the list up again now. So these are the linebackers that are going to the draft. You got C.J. Allen from Georgia, Lander Barton from Utah, Wesley Basantha from Miami, Bryce Betcher from Oregon, Kendall Daniels from Oklahoma, Caleb Elam's Orr from TCU, Keyshawn Elliott from Arizona State, Aiden Fisher from Indiana, Eric Gentry from USC, Jake Golday from Cincinnati, Owen Heineke from Oklahoma, Anthony Hill Jr. Texas, Justin Jefferson Alabama, Jack Kelly from BYU, Deontay Lawson from Alabama, Kyle Louis from Pittsburgh, Red Murdoch from Buffalo, Namdi Obayazor from TCU, Harold Perkins Jr. from LSU, Arvell Reese, Ohio State, Jacob Rodriguez, Texas Tech, Jimmy Roldan, Michigan, Carson Shaw at Iowa, Xavier Sori Jr. from Arkansas, Sonny Styles from Ohio State, Josiah Trotter, Missouri, Scooby Williams and Torian York from Texas A&M, and Wade Woodass from Clemson. And for those wondering why some of them are in purple, I've deliberately put the more star linebacker types in purple, just so you kind of get an idea of their skill set and what they may be drafted for. These guys can play up on the edge at outside linebacker, they play at middle linebacker traditionally, and they also play safety as well. So yeah, that's your thing there. And then the Lions have been interested in a lot today. Again, they're the only groups at the Combine, so don't read too much into it. But I know we have definitely spoken to Red Murdoch from Buffalo, Kyle Louis from Pittsburgh, which would be amazing. That might be the first time Brad Holmes ever picks a guy I really like in the draft process. We've had a formal meeting with Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas as well. I think those are the ones that jump out to me. There may be some more at this moment in time. They're sort of pouring in all day long there, but I mean, it's an interesting group, this, right? There's no really obvious, outside of, Sonny Styles, really, and Arvell Reese, but they're kind of more your hybrid types in terms of out-and-out middle linebackers going in the first round. You're probably the first one you're looking at is Jake Golday out of Cincinnati. But it's an interesting group here. Linebacker, there's so much to it. Again, as mentioning, because these guys do so much now, you're not just looking at your traditional linebacker drills, you're looking at coverage drills, you're looking at speed, you're looking at strength. These guys have kind of got to do everything pretty good when it comes to there. Obviously your weight is big. You don't want to be too light, but you don't want to be too heavy. The 40s seem to be more of a thing because you've got to cover more of the field, you're covering more roles, you want to be a bit more rapid. And then all your strength drills and your technical drills, really, your broad, your vertical, your three cone, your shuttle, like the vast majority of these ones matter for linebackers because of the sheer amount that they are asked to do.
Yep, I'm with you. The Combine is huge for linebackers. You can't shy away from any drill, really. I mean, every drill will test some sort of challenge you will come up against. The 40 is big, like you say. Got the bench press, you've got the cones, the shuttles. Like, there's no shying away from any of these events, really, because the modern day middle linebacker, like you say, or Mike, or even like you say the weak Sam, like you say, you are dropping into coverage, so your back pedal needs to be crisp. You've got to be able to cut on a dime, clip the heels together, and then turn. So your cones are important. You will be asked to blitz, like you say, you'll come off the edge, you'll come up from the hole in the middle. So how good you 40? Like you say, you will be shedding blocks. Like you say, going up against tight ends. Are you physical enough in the bench press? Like you say, you'll be getting in passing lanes and jumping up to try those tip drills because the DBs are relying on you to get their hands on the ball. So how could you vertical? Like you say, how could you broad jump? So there's nowhere to hide for these guys. And like I say, there's a lot of these guys here. Like I say, another one, they don't like short arms. Like I say, but they don't like guys that are too tall and lean. Like, there's a name on here. Like I say, I'm looking at Gentry. We already know he's got a terrible build for the position. But he's got a terrible build for every position he played in college. He does not fit any position. He's too light for an edge rusher. He's too tall and lanky and not explosive enough for a linebacker. He is an anomaly. and I'm going to avoid him like the plague because of that. I hate everything about his game. That's the fault. But like I say, and then like I say, we look at Jacob Rodriguez. Plays the game better than anyone in the game right now, but I know he won't test well. He's not overly fast. Like I say, he's got short arms. He's 6'1", 210. Might come in at 6.5, 205, 210. Like I say, all the things like I say, you don't look at the modern linebacker, but a lot of guys won't care. But like, he can play the position. He's got high IQ. But then you look at Sonny Styles, built in a lab, comes in off a conveyor belt. Like I say, just looks like he's been injected with, like say, X from Bloody the Boys. Like you say, he's got some serum running through his veins. So yeah, there's a definitely interesting blend here of guys that are pass rushers, like say cosplaying as linebackers, or like pure coverage middle guys that are going to be just stuck in and around the huddle, like say coming down the line of scrimmage, that don't fancy themselves as being able to get to the quarterback, and it's working out who is the sweet spot somewhere in the middle, well-rounded enough to play at least 3 downs.
And more so, and obviously the meetings matter for every position group here, but you feel like especially for the linebackers, the meetings will matter more.
You want to see how smart they are.
Exactly, and a lot of these guys are drafted as
That's
potential.
where Jack Campbell got the first round.
Yeah.
Because he won the coaches over. They said, like, this is the player call. We're going to give you the play. What would you call to nullify this? Where should you be? How would you get people lined up?
Yeah,
and if you can do that at an instant, they know, like, this kid's got it. I don't care if he's 6 foot and like 210. He's got it. He knows where he needs to be when the ball is snapped.
Exactly, and like you say, you are drafting a lot of these guys to potentially be future leaders, so it's kind of more like a job interview. I mean, it's a job interview for everyone, but in such as, like you say, there's so much more. They have to diagnose everything from the run play, where everyone's positioned. They've got to move everyone around. They're the quarterback back there, so a lot of it, and you figure that's where Jacob Rodriguez will sell here, because like you said, he's best linebacker in college football, bar none. I don't think there's anyone who could really touch what he's done this year, but because of his measurables, because of some of the athletic stuff, he's not looked at like some of the others. But if he goes there and wows them in the film room as well, you feel that with his body of work behind him, if he's got the IQ there, that could put him straight up there. Yeah.
Like I say, once the coaches meet with him and speak with him, they'll probably be like, if anyone could overcome physical tools, which the whole game will be for him, like I say, he lacks the above average physical tools, like I say, above the position. But if he's smart enough, like I say, to diagnose stuff quickly, he's a good communicator. Like I say, he's an extension of their headset on the field, and he can call timeouts. He can realise when something's not right and then change the plate line of scrimmage, corner audible, like I say, and people where they're supposed to be, and just rally the troops. And people trust him, like the same way people trust Anzalone and Campbell, like I say, where they are responsible if someone's not in the right place, or if someone's not lined up properly and you don't pick up on it. Like I say, it's an all-encompassing position. I'm with you. It is the quarterback of the defence. It is by far the hardest position, bar corner, to play on the defence, because you've got to be on the ball at everything. Like I say, there is nowhere to hide, because if you whiff, usually it leads to a big play, and then you're leaning on your safeties as last line of defence, and they will not thank you for it.
No, you've got to be built big. You've got to be able to shift that sideline. That's where, like, CJ Allen will do well. I know people don't like it because he's boring by modern day. So, like, there's a lot of guys here who are, again, see how many of these guys are star linebackers. They do 3 different jobs, and it's the way of the NFL now. You see it traditionally more with, like, linebackers being safeties and vice versa, but they come up to the line now if they're big enough because they blitz so much, and but you've still got to give love for the old school traditional linebackers like CJ Allen. Like, they're just as important. But yeah, it's maybe not the most star-studded group here. Obviously, it feels cheating, like guys like Arvell Reese and that. They're outside linebackers, aren't they? They're there for their pass rushing ability.
You could have put Reese in defensive line, if I'm honest.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to be an edge rusher.
Exactly. It's kind of cheat code. It's like the whole Micah Parsons thing. I know he was a linebacker, but we all know them more than that.
And Jack Kelly got like 9-10 sacks this year.
I love Jack Kelly.
BYU used him as basically a pass rusher.
He's only about 240, he's 245, so you can kind of get away with that with him.
He's bigger than these guys, he's taller than these guys, like you say, he plays a little different to, let's say, Courier and York, who I love. He is a linebacker, and the first thing he wants to do is, where's the ball? I want to hit the player, I want to punch the ball out. Like I say, he is a bloodhound, he's a pig looking for truffles, and he's a run stuffer. And I love him, like I say, he's an SEC captain. In coverage, a lot of work to do, but he plays the game the right way, physical. A lot of these guys here are like, can I stop the run first? And I'll work on everything else. Yeah. And that's fine by me.
That's why you prove the athleticism, that you are athletic enough to follow these tight ends, running backs.
Some of these guys here have got injury issues, like I say. I mean, Perkins probably is the one that'll have the medical red flags.
For the ACL.
He's missed a lot of time for a lot of different injuries. And like I say, he still doesn't know his best position. So how the hell can anyone at the combine know it for him?
I think there's him.
Gentry. No one knows where to play Gentry. Well, USC tried a lot of things. Like, it's going to be difficult.
I know Lander Barton's been asked to play tight end, hasn't he? They're talking about switching him in tight end, which is, it makes sense. He's much bigger. He's 6'6". Yeah. So it makes sense if he's a bit too tall to play linebacker. Teams don't like it, but switch him over. You've seen like linebacker to tight ends not as rare a switch as you might think. I guess they both kind of... I suppose
you're kind of just flipping the coverage and just mirroring it, really, because you're doing a lot of stuff that works in... You're breaking in and you're breaking out a lot of it.
And you're probably a decent blocker if you've been a linebacker for a lot of your career, so it kind of works. Apparently some people are trying to hybrid him as well. Maybe don't like that idea, but... we'll see with that. But yeah, those are your linebackers for the combine, and then we're going to finish it off with the secondary. So again, I'll just get the names up on here. Sorry, it has to be done this way, but here it is. So I'll do the safeties.
You could have split it for us, God.
I have split it. Don't you worry. They're in different colours.
They could do the work for you.
I know they could. We've got the safeties in red. We've got the corners in green. We'll do the safeties first because there's less of them. We've got Bud Clark from TCU, Caleb Downs, Ohio State, Bishop Fitzgerald, USC, AJ Halsey, LSU, Jalen Husky, Maryland, Dalton Johnson, Arizona, Jalen Kilgore from South Carolina, Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo, Louis Moore from Indiana, Ahmed Moses from SMU, Xavier Nankpa from Iowa, VJ Payne from Kansas State, Kabari Ramsey from USC, Deshaun Singleton from Nebraska, Genesis Smith of Arizona, Robert Spears Jennings of Oklahoma, Lorenzo Styles Jr. from Ohio State, Michael Taffy from Texas, Dylan Tyneman of Oregon, Jacoby Thomas of Miami, and Zakie Wheatley of Penn State are your safeties. Just get this off one bit there. So when it comes to safety drills, in terms of what you're really looking for... We
could agree that safety is maybe with the best position, maybe at the combine this year.
Yeah. Safeties,
I think it might be.
Safeties are really deep.
That list you just rattled off of some of the best names in the draft.
Yeah, safety is really... it's really deep this year. I do like the safety class more than I thought initially. I mean, when it comes to perception and what you're looking for with these guys, obviously, again, it kind of changes a bit. If you're looking for more of your free safety type, a 40 matters because you're covering large distances on the field. Your more athletic drills are in there, your shuttle, your vertical as well, being able to jump routes from far, you want a good vert, etc. And then if you're looking at sort of more of your strong safeties, you are looking at bits like bench, broad jump, your height and your weight. It kind of depends really what you want from the position, right? But obviously with the safeties, it's weird because safeties traditionally test bad. Ras doesn't like safeties, but I think it's because Ras doesn't know what to look for in safeties. But for me, I'm always valuing the strength side of the game with them, and I'm always valuing the IQ side of the game. You've got to have a high IQ. I think you've got to be good in your coverage drills, your recognition, your identification. I think the interviews matter a lot as well. Someone like AJ Halsey, who is the smartest guy I've ever seen at safety before, his ability to keep eyes on the quarterback, know where the play's going, know where he's needed, not jump the gun too early. But again, it depends really what you're looking for with these guys. You have to take it sort of man by man rather than a blanket figure with them, which is why it's kind of so hard to know what drills that you want for some of them.
Yeah, I like to say a lot of these guys, the ones that are more experienced or played in more profile, might have played a more single high look, where, like you say, you just leave one safety deep to cover, like say, the whole field. Like Cal Hamilton, that could cover 40 yards either way. Like saying, some of them may have been, like say, two shell looks, where they had equal responsibilities, half a field each, where they had to cover less ground, didn't have to cover as many moving targets, like say, so they split the workload. And then, like say, a lot of packages, like say, cover threes where they'd rotate. So a lot of these guys are varying degrees of being put on an island, like say, and how much they were trusted. But with you, Raz don't like safety because a lot of safeties are tall and a lot of them are skinny. And usually, like say, that equals out straight away to a bad measurement. If they're tall and they're light, kind of tanks your score already. Like I say, because a lot of these guys, they ain't thumpers. Your free safeties ain't going to be thumpers. They're the ones that, like you say, want to break on the ball. They're on about, like say, recognition, taking the right angles, working with the sideline, covering, like say, over the top, and then, like say, working towards the field. Like I said, they will bring them down if they have to, but ideally they don't want to be, because that means the play's not gone very well. The smaller, thicker guys like Kilgore, a stronger safety that is going to be closer to the line of scrimmage, like I say, ultimately is somewhat an extra linebacker, like I say, picking up running backs, like I say, working against tight ends, like I say, they're a bit usually shorter, stouter, thicker, less shy of contact. They're happier to get a bit more physical. Like I say, all for them, it's all about, I'm with you, cones, angles. Do they take the right angle? Are they too shallow? Are they too deep? Is their head on the right side of the play? Are they putting themselves in positions to, one, hurt themselves, like I say, or make successful tackles? So yeah, a lot of those, it'll depend, like I say, entirely how they've been asked to play the game and what experience they have right now. So yeah, you're looking at different drills for different stuff. But yeah, ultimately it'll be another one where it'll be the interviews. And do these guys understand what coverage looks like? When the wide receivers come out and they see like a trips, they see a tight end, and they see a single, like I say, do they know what's going to happen? Do they know where they need to be? Are they in man? Are they in zone? Are they good communicators? Like say, are they watching the quarterback? Are they lazy? Are they cheating? Are they not paying attention to the ball and just, like say, too focused on everything around them? It's mental chess is safety. For me, safety is the hardest game in the league, position in the league right now, because you're asking safeties to do more now than you ever have done. And like I say, no one would have ever thought, like say, taking Kyle Hamilton that high, or paying Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph that much. Or like I say, we're about to see Caleb Downs now, because we play in a passing league with spread offences, with the best offensive minds in the game. And those safeties, like I say, if they ain't up to scratch, then you're in trouble.
No, and again, it's the hybrid nature of what they're asked to do. You see a lot of safeties come up, not just at strong safety, they're asked to be linebackers now as well, you know, those extra guys against the run, so the build does count for a lot of it. I prefer my safeties to be a bit chunkier, I'm not going to lie. I think they make the better ones. You bring them up line scrimmage. The 40, not necessarily a thing for them, but for the blitzers, you do look at the 10, 20-yard splits, you know, the ones who can get off really quick and be effective blitzers, because also part of the game now, the safety blitz, even against the run, can you get in there quite quick, time your snaps right, get in there. The 40 not so, but the 10 and 20 you do keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, like I say, it's another position where those little fragments, those little missteps really count. I'm with you. Their long speed is not that important. Again, if they're running 40 yards, the ball's already gone past them. They're trailing, and then by then it's too late. They're not coming downhill 40 yards, or if they are, someone's blown a coverage and then you're hoping they make a big tackle. But ultimately, yeah, the cone drills, like say the 5, 10, 5, how quickly can they change direction? Like say, how quickly and sharp are they? Like say, have they got good stable footwork? Are they fluid? Is their body weight right? Can they change, like say, in stability? So yeah, short yardage twitch is much more important for them, like I say, for tracking people across the field and anticipating in open field. guys are going to try trick you out your cleats. Like I say, if you don't have good balance or you don't have your weight right, you don't have your feet set right, then yeah, they're going to leave you for dead, and you're going to probably be getting stiff-armed into tomorrow.
What stands out for me in this group of safeties this year is takeaways. Like, there's so many takeaway merchants in here. You look at Bud Clark, you look at Bishop Fitzgerald, you look at AJ Halsey. Guys who, like, they're getting better in coverage. They're getting smarter in coverage as well. I think, you've obviously got your two guys at the top, but you're going to have a lot of steals on day 2 or day 3 here with guys like that who are just so cerebral. They get the ball over, they turn it over so much. Those 3 especially, they love it.
Yeah. What's funny is about position and safety, it feels like one of them positions where people don't care if you're a bit older.
No.
Like I say, because these guys, I mean, how old's Harrison Smith? How long's he been playing the game? Like, if you look after your body right,
35,
a lot of these guys don't have super serious injuries, but yeah, like I said, Bud Clark, 25.
Louis Moore's 25.
Fight production, yeah.
Just won
Michael
the Natty
Taft's
with
been around in
Indiana.
college a while, but a very experienced veteran leader. Like I say, a lot of these guys have been around the block for a while, but that won't be used against them like it will certain positions.
No, but I think, again, like you say, the build, I think you have to be, it helps to be older, doesn't it, and a bit more well built and a bit more because of what you have to do, because you are taking the full brunt of somebody in the run game, right? If someone breaks the line of scrimmage, you're hitting them when they're running 20 miles an hour, not when they're running into you at the line of scrimmage just starting their run. You've got to be built well. You see them with our 2 safeties at Detroit, both of them are hurt. It's easy to get hurt at that position, so the durability matters. But I'm with you as well. I think the meetings matter for these guys as well. I think if you are going to negate a negative stereotype with your athletic ability, you've got to be clever.
Yeah, like you say, there's no shying away from contact. Like you say, tight ends, speed. Yeah, you've just got to be able to hold your own. At least hold them up till reinforcements get there. Like you say, if you come in at, like you say, a 190-pound safety in NFL, like, I immediately worry for them.
Yeah.
Someone like Derrick Henry is just going to absolutely make mincemeat of you in the open field, because he won't go around you. He will just go through you. He won't fear whatsoever. So yeah, you need to put some serious bulk on.
Yeah, obviously tackle, your tackle technique and everything is crucial as well. Again, you're the last guy. You've got to be able to tackle, right? I know safeties traditionally have higher missed tackle rates than their corner counterparts because they do more run stopping, but I like it to be low. I like them to know that they can bring it, and they do it properly as well. So, but yeah, the safety class for me, really good there at the Combine. And then we're finishing off with the corners one more time with love. We got Dacario Davis from Washington, Mansour Delane from LSU, Charles Demings from Stephen F. Austin, Thaddeus Dixon from North Carolina, Dalen Everett from Georgia, Andre Fuller from Toledo, Jalen Gilbo from Texas, TJ Hall from Iowa, Amari Harvey, Georgia Tech, Colton Hood of Tennessee, Davison Igbinison from Ohio State, Damani Jackson from Alabama, Chris Johnson, San Diego State, Will Lee III of TAMU, Hezekiah Massas from California, Jamod McCoy, Tennessee, Latrell McCutcheon Sr. from Houston, Devin Moore from Florida, Malik Muhammad from Texas, Julian Neal from Arkansas, D'Angelo Pons from Indiana, Toriano Pride Jr. from Missouri, Ephesians Pryzok from Washington, Chandler Rivers of Duke, Keontae Scott of Miami, Avery Smith of Toledo, Traden Stooks of Arizona, Avian Terrell of Clemson, and Colin Wright of Stanford. Those are your corners. When it comes to corners, more so than any, people love to do the 40 with corners. You've got to have, especially in the NFL nowadays, if you're a corner and you want to thrive, you've got to run a quick 40. And the height-weight argument becomes a big one as well. Obviously, nickel corners, slot corners can be a little smaller, a little less weighty, but the league doesn't like too lean corners, right? You've got to be sort of 180 plus if they really want to like you there, and sort of no shorter than 5'10 either. The measurements mean a lot, especially to some of the smaller guys. D'Angelo Pons, someone like him, he's the best coverage corner in the draft, but if his height goes down, this combine will affect him badly. But you're looking for speed, movement, elite hips, those sort of things. Probably the best indicator, the on-field drills for the corners here.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we're talking a position that gets fooled most by the combine, it's got to be corner. Like I say, these guys will put up, they'll smash the combine, they'll be 6'1", 190. Like I say, they get to the NFL, or like I say, they do okay in the drills, and then suddenly, like I say, they look lost. Like I say, but they ran a 440. Like I say, they had the measurables, they had the 11-foot crazy broad jump. I'm thinking of like Obi Melifonwu will smashed it, cornerback safe. Like I say, you put up the best numbers in a game, and then it just doesn't translate. Same with you. I don't like to read into it. Like I say, it's going to be one of those where it's hard. Like I say, Pons, technically sound, fantastic college career, immediate disadvantage that caps his ceiling purely if he measures 5'8". Like I say, that, yeah. And there's nothing we can do about that. Like I say, it is what it is. There's only so high he will be taken. Like I say, and that sucks because, like I say, he'll probably absolutely smash the drills. Like I say, he'll do incredibly well. Like I say, the footwork, the cones, like I say, anything else that involves like explosion or size, he will struggle at. Like I say, and that will be held against him. Like I say, and you'll get some like I say, Davison or Benison that could be 6'1", 6'2", 190, 200 pounds. The guy's well built. He is a big physical corner. Like I say, may test well. Like I say, may look. Like I say, and someone would be like, blind pick, who had the better college career, don't know. I take Davison. Purely because he's more prototypical of what I like in the NFL. And then, yeah, like I said, also, did these guys play zone? Did they play man? Because if they played man, is their bench press good? Are they physical? Can, like I say, their handwork? Are they good at line of scrimmage? Like I say, if they didn't and they played a lot of zone, yes, how good's their cone drill while they're moving through traffic because they're giving cushions? So, you will ultimately, if you're a GM, knowing what your defensive coordinator plays the scheme, Lions play a lot of man coverage. Like I say, too much. Like I say, so primary zone corners, like I say, it didn't test well. You'd probably take them straight off the board because you're probably not going to put them in good positions anyway. So cornerback is the flavour of the month.
It feels
like I say, it's impossible. Like I say, yeah, I hate it.
It feels like another group who need like live reps at the combine. You know, you take a receiver out there. Take a UFL guy.
Just do one-on-ones like they do at the Senior Bowl.
Take like a speedy UFL guy, something. You can tell him to run routes, have him run slants, have him run outs, crosses, whatever. You know, just keep throwing different looks at them to see how they respond on the field. Because they say you can be as fast as you want, you can be as twitchy as you want, but if you've got no idea where they're going, they'll get the separation on you. The NFL is full of crafty wide receivers, and you see with their counterparts, quick wide receivers don't work in the NFL. You know, the guys who just run speedy 40s and don't really bring anything else to the table, they don't work. So why do we keep just going after the fastest corners? Because they, a lot of the time, like you say, don't work either, do they?
Nope. So, yeah. There's a couple of positions where the combine does not help. Let's say the DBs, there simply are not enough hand-eye coordination and ball drills where they're just working with, like, say, a quarterback or a receiver, and you're actually doing any live reps. Like I say, and half these guys, like I say, could turn out to be total penalty machines. And there's no way of testing that. If they're too physical, if they're ill-disciplined, by the time you've committed to them, it's too late.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's impossible to, you get all the measurements, you get the drills, and then it's the lottery. It's a crapshoot.
Mm. It's intriguing. PFF did a thing, pitting draft position by position against the war these players have in the NFL, and they said when it comes to corners, it's the strength drills that matter more than anything. The broad jumps, your contested catch ability, rather than your athletic ability that can do it. Because again, a lot of corners you see simply just get manhandled these days, despite the speed. It doesn't really matter. You've got a big 6'3", 6'4" wide receiver in your face. You're not really going to succeed with it. Tight ends are getting bigger. Running backs are getting bigger. You're looking more towards the strength drills with corners now. It's the problem the Lions, I feel like we've had, is they're not strong enough, a lot of them. They're small, they're not durable. Like, for me, the durability comes into issue as well, and injury history matters more than anything with corners, just because, foot injuries, stuff like that, anything that could slightly impede their ability to move all over the place is just, it should be a no-no.
Yeah, a few of these guys have got sketchy or interesting medical history. Some of these guys are older, been around in college a long time, longer than they should have been. Whether that's eligibility, multiple transfers, I'm looking at you, Damani Jackson. Guys that have been around the block and not settled in any scheme. Medical injuries, like I say, don't like it. Red flags. If you've played on 3 different defences, jump ship, and like I say, here you are now. Not a fan of that. So, there's a lot of things that can instantly turn me off a lot of cornerbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the record as well, for the ones who do...
And turnovers. Never measure a cornerback by the amount of turnovers he gets.
No. Yeah, for me,
I saw delayed. Did not get a lot of corners, but his passing rating when targeted, he's shut down.
I look at the completion percentage.
Didn't take the ball away though, not often, and I don't care.
I look at the completion percentage, and I look at yak as well. A guy can give up a lot of catches. If he's not giving up much yak, generally probably means he's defending a lot of screens, stuff like that he can get. But as long as he's making the tackles, you don't like to see big yak with a corner, and you don't like to see sort of the, for me, 65+% completions against him. That should be down towards 50 if you really want a good go at it.
Yeah. Because like I say, turnovers, they're not an indication of how good your cornerback is. That can be how poor the wide receiver was, how bad the throw was.
Look at Trayvon Diggs. Look at Trayvon Diggs from the other year. Like Trayvon Diggs when he had that year where he just took loads of picks, morphed it into a massive contract, and then it was like, oh, actually, he's not really that good, is he? For me, I'm old school. Give me a guy who gets no interceptions and 5 pass breakups over a guy who gets 6 interceptions but gets burned for a load. I don't like the big splashy plays with corners.
No.
No, absolutely not. So yeah, those are your corners, and that is your defensive group there. Obviously, Lions have not met with any of these because the corners, the safeties have not arrived yet. Same with all the offensive prospects we did last week. No offensive prospects have arrived at the moment, but no doubt as the week goes on, we're going to hear a lot more about these coming in. I guess we didn't mention with the corners. Is there any corners that you're looking forward to seeing here? Anyone else outside of that batch? I mean, for me, I really want the Lions to get a bigger corner. Someone for me like Ephesians Pryzok. He's 6'4", the Washington corner. I really like him. But is there anyone else in there? I know you've mentioned Traden Stukes before, the Arizona corner. For me, there's a lot of hidden talent in here. They're not so much at the top of the ball, but you look a bit down and you're like, there could be a ton of potentially good cases here. Even one from your own ASU as well is garnering a lot of interest.
Yeah, I was looking straight away at Abney for the Lions because obviously he's full-time slot corner, and you've got, you've got to ask yourself what you're doing with Meek Robertson, and he is, that perfect guy that can fit in at, your nickel, your rover, your bandit, and work inwards like that. And he does get a lot of 28 to 35 love, fringe first rounder, early second rounder kind of guy. The measurables will be interesting. I've seen him listed at 5'11". I've seen him measuring at 5'9".
Ooh.
He is little. He is light. It'll just be how little and how light he is. But I still don't think he'll take away because I think on tape you can see he's not the biggest guy. People are going to accept that. But Takerio Davis had a good career at Arizona, and he's a taller guy as well. He's older. Didn't work out at Washington, but experience, I think he's 6'4". So he's a corner, bigger physical outside presence. But yeah, I do like Davison at Benison.
I know you
good
do,
career,
yeah.
Finished strong, Ohio State. He's physical, he's 6'1", 6'1.5", maybe. I'd love to think he gets in 6'2", 210. More physical outside presence. Someone you get in the middle to late rounds. Someone I've looked at about that. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of guys here. I'm definitely interested in adding a corner where possible. I'm with you though. Probably someone a little more physical.
Yeah, I would agree there. There's intriguing prospects as well. Obviously, the first group of 5 prospect in the draft is expected to come off here. Chris Johnson, 6 foot, 195, giving up only 55% of the possession throws against him this year. 5 picks, has just about everything. And coming from a San Diego State team, they've been popping out talent like crazy recently. Their portal rinsed them this year. Guy's gone to massive programs. You look at him, and it's like potential first round pick in there. I mean, what does he really have to... Like, he's just got a collegiate career full of production. Yes, it's at the group of 5 level, but, you know, the Mountain West pumps out talent all the time there. I feel like, you know, maybe just his exposure to scouts here, more being able to talk to them, but I would feel like he could be a big riser out of this if he gets his stuff right.
Yeah. I think, like you say, whether he needs to test it physically well or not, I think he just goes out there, puts a lot of good numbers up, and with you. The base way starting from now, the trajectory will only be up. Like you say, go out there. Do you need to be fast to play corner? No. But go run a good 40. People will start talking. Is you brought, like say, high jump. You go up there and put in a stellar high jump. Like you say, a lot of people will start talking whether or not it's part of your game or not. So I suppose for him, it's all about some flashy numbers. Whether he needs them or not, whether he's... Like I say, I think he's just going to have to put himself out there and, like I say, try to turn a few heads athletically. Like I say, even when his game is pretty well polished as it is, like I say, just getting the strength from, like I say, a bench press. If you're not the fastest or the strongest, can you give me 15, 20 reps on the bench press? If you can do that, people will be like, well, this kid might be the real deal. He's strong. So yeah, a lot of these guys will have been in the gym in recent weeks just for that one drill. Like I say, to try prove, like I say, they've got the physical strength to go toe to toe with, like I say, DK Metcalf. That is a notoriously bully boy kind of guy.
Yeah, and quite a fun segue here. Resurrection Season in the comments puts Tariq Woolen for the Seahawks is 6'4". Funny, because Tariq Woolen was a group of 5 corner coming out. I know he didn't get taken high, but his RAS was huge. It was like a 9.7. He did test athletically well, and teams kind of put away some of the concerns about him. And I know he's had a very... What was he? He was up for Defensive Player of the Year. He was like for Rookie of the Year for defense. He was up for that. And obviously, Super Bowl winner now. Had a bit in there, but it's shown that it can be done. And like you say, maybe it's just Chris Johnson has to test athletically. Will get maybe the Woolen treatment, although he should go a bit higher. But shouldn't put off the group of 5 aspect of it, because you could tell Tariq Woolen was going to be special. I loved that UTSA team back when he was back there. There's a lot of guys who've come up to the league from that side who've done well. Him included. Like, shouldn't be a burden on them that they're group of 5 players, right? If they're good enough, they're good enough. And I think Chris Johnson's in that same vein.
Yeah. We've seen loads of group of 5 FCS defensive backs in recent years, like you say, come into the NFL and win jobs straight away. Like you say, look at this year, and like the Rams, look like Jacoby Durant. He was a small school corner, won a job, became one of the best defensive backs in the NFC in a couple of years. Like I say, guys like that are winning these guys over. Like I say, that didn't have big flashy tape coming out of school and didn't necessarily do that well at the combine. Like I say, if you've got coaches that have got good scouting departments and they're looking for these small school guys, then yeah, they'll find you. Like I say, and they don't need you to put blazing numbers up.
No, absolutely not. SC State he came from. Again, we talk about the HBCUs. Go for a HBCU DB. They do it. Gerard Washington's in the draft here. Go for him. There is an FCS DB here this year. Charles Demings. I know Charles Demings got to love the lumberjack, I believe. He's got perfect size almost. What's he, like 6'2", nearly 200, something like that. But vastly experienced. I mean, you know, what does he have to do, the FCS guy? Obviously, I guess you're just going to have to athletically test well and drill well, but it just feels like the combine doesn't... I guess it's the interviews with these guys that will put them over the top, but, you know, you wouldn't bet against him. Again, this has been a very good lumberjack side of, like, he looks tremendous as well. Another great small school corner who could benefit big from this.
Yeah, I think for him, like I say, it's exposure. It's just being here at all. Like I say, getting the chances to speak to these coaches that probably don't know who he is, probably don't know the level of football he's played at, which is a good little Stephen F. Austin. He's got the stats behind it, but they probably want to know more about the person. Like I say, they probably want to get him, like say, show him some playbooks, get him to watch some film. So for him, like I say, test well, but ultimately I think the personality, like I say, the confidence, the IQ will come over more once he meets them. So yeah, for him, like I say, physically he can compete with the guys that are like say the FBS guys. He should be able to match them when it comes to the drills. I think ultimately you just have to prove to them he's smarter than some of them. He's had to work harder for it. Like I say, he's had to take a different, more physical, gritty route. And yeah, he'll have to charm some people. Like I say, and just say, I'm going to work harder. Like I say, more dedication to the craft. So yeah, I think more it's going to come across more in the classroom for him.
Yeah, and then in terms of injuries and that, this is no bigger for anyone other than Colton Hood, right? Again, another who's not played a single snap last year, but like honestly, some people project him in the teens. Like it's crazy how someone who's not played for so long can go this high, but like his medicals make or break him here, because he'll not be a first round pick if there's any lingering, because there's no tape to go off in the last 18 months for him.
Yeah, I think the coaches will probably ask, so what have you been doing for the last 18 months? And you can't say rehabbing, like I say, because that's, I think people want to know, like I say, obviously he's had injuries and that can't be helped, but has he been productive in that time, knowing that, like I say, the draft was looming? And yeah, is he going to have a mop up? Is it all done? Does he feel good? Like I say, they're the kind of guys that the drills matter. If you're coming off, like say, rehab of a big surgery and you look like you're holding back, or you're cautious, or you're nervous to give it your all, then yeah, people will start to worry and think, can I put all my faith in him if he doesn't have faith in himself? So those are guys that physically I watch the most. If they tell me they're good to go and they're going to compete, then you better give me everything in your 40, whether you've torn your ACL 18 months ago or not. Like, there's no holding back now.
No, and you've got to do your drills to make sure there's no movement issues or anything like that, anything that's, propping you up that week. You're going to pick in the first round, there is a level of expectation that needs to be met.
Yeah, like I say, yeah, a lot of these guys, yeah, it's confidence, like safe, and it'd be just fluid. At least stiff. Corners can't be stiff. Like you say, you need to be, hips need to have swivel. Like you say, you need to be light on your feet. Like you say, the footwork is probably more important than anything. Like you say, how crisp is it? How clean is it? Don't waste steps. Yeah, like I say, that's probably a lot of the coaches will be doing the drills. Probably be looking at their bottom halves to see how they look while they're doing them.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Resurrection Season's mentioned about other 6'4s, and Sean Wright, also 6'4", unrestricted free agent coming off a Pro Bowl year. He's going to be expensive. He's going to be very expensive for 1 year of production, but you're right. I do like my corners a bit taller, I'm not going to lie, in most cases. I would hope we
When was the last time the Lions had a tall corner?
Exactly. I don't like that we have a lack
was
of them.
6'2".
Yeah,
he wasn't athletic.
No.
He was slow.
I don't like our lack of big... Like, obviously, guys like Devon Witherspoon and that spot, I love them, but I would like some more height in our DBs, for damn sure. So, that's why I would like them to go after someone like Aycock or something like this year. Just to give us something a little bit different, because too many of our guys are brittle. We've got to find someone who's a lot more durable. Someone who's a lot better against the run and has not missed much time in their career, because we can't keep affording to drafting injured DBs. Right, I think that is about everything.
We've got the specialists, but let's be honest, does anything at the combine matter for the specialists?
I mean, all I would say...
Kick.
Yeah, exactly. All I would say is the Lions are not looking for special teams this year. In terms of kicker, punter and long snapper, we've got them all. So... Yeah.
Just do drills. None of the stats matter.
Exactly.
You don't need to bother.
Exactly. Special teams
Can you tackle? None of the drills can tell me if you tackle. I won't know until you've taken your first kickoff. And if you can't tackle by then, well, it's too late. I can't teach you how to tackle.
Oh, I guess if you're a team that's got very poor special teams and you're not good at punt coverage or anything like that, I'd look for a punter that could tackle if it's coming back at me every time. But I guess we didn't mention I guess sometimes for Gordon as well. I guess the 40s for returning and stuff like that can matter as well, but it's got to be very specific to the player there. But yeah, that is everything in terms of the combine and the roster that is going there for that. So as I say, when next week comes along, we'll take a look at some of the major stories that have come out, depending on who's done well, whose stock's gone down, in the eyes of those or ourselves. We'll kind of just do a big review of the whole thing. So yeah, that is fun, but we'll do, we're not going too long, we'll do a couple of other bits before we get out of here. Resurrection season goes, do we practice too hard? Does that contribute to our injury woes? I mean, it's becoming more of a topic of conversation right now, right, about how we practice. I guess part of me can't help but think it's no. I guess they're going to have to practice hard anyhow, but at the same point, we have so many injured players, injury-prone players, that maybe it does seem a bad idea. I don't know. What do you think? Do we practice too hard? Do you begin to think now that maybe we need to ease it off just a little bit?
It's hard, like you say. I've seen lots of people in last year say, like, do we practice too hard? Do we have bad strength conditioning coaches? Are the medical team bad? Like you say, I find it hard to believe any of it. I find it hard to believe that the staff can't diagnose injuries. Like you say, they're misdiagnosing people. They're on the wrong diets. They're on the wrong training program. Like, that just seems ludicrous. Because these guys, a lot of the guys have been here before Dan arrived. And before the extra physical practices started. There's very long tenured guys here. Do we practice harder than other teams without knowing what they do? I'd probably say yes. We probably do practice a little bit more physical than other teams. Do a lot of our major injuries seem to come from practice? That I've seen, probably not, no. Like I said, we do just end up where a lot of guys end up on the injury report on the Monday or Tuesday, and a lot of it does seem game associated. Are guys going into games fatigued? Maybe, but there's no way of proving that, and the player would never tell you if practice was too tough and they didn't feel 100% when they went into a game. So I find it impossible to attribute any blame. Do we have don't know, is Allen Park on an ancient burial ritual site? Maybe. It does seem like we do have more
for supernatural aspects here.
Weren't we second in like snaps lost for like injuries last season? I think like we were second worst in the league. It feels like that. Like say when we get injuries, it's always it's bad. Second opinion, season ending.
Yeah, I'm with you in a way.
I'd love if there was a reason to attribute it, we could fix it. But
yeah, well,
we just can't. I'm like,
yeah, Resurrection.
We're not even drafting players with bad injury history. That's the thing as well. We're not getting guys with red flags.
No. A lot of them are not. It happens when they get here, which is crazy.
Like Hutchinson in college was fine. The fact he broke his leg like a Kit Kat, that is a freak injury.
Well, that's the thing I have. Very quickly, Resurrection season says, seems like the cupboard is empty by the end of every season, particularly on defence. I think that's wear and tear. You think of all the major injuries we've had, right? Hutch, in-game. Aleem McNeil, in-game. Laporta,
Branch,
in-game. Branch, in-game. Kirby, it's kind of degenerative, but he did take a hit. In-game.
Anzalone broke his arm in a
Anzalone,
game.
in-game. Like last year, Levi and Pascal coming into this year, it was off-season or remnants from the season before.
Yeah. In games, they got hurt.
In games. It wasn't during training that they got hurt. The only one I can think of who got hurt in camp is Marcus Davenport, and that's because he's made of glass. A lot of the other major injuries we've had, I'm trying to think of. Like last year, the offensive line, all of them in game. Who else have we had out? Terrion in game. Carlton Davis in game. Oh God, help me out. Malcolm Rodriguez did his ACL in game. I think of the vast majority of big injuries we've had, and they say they're in game. And we've just gotten unlucky with that. We've gotten so many serious injuries, but it's not like we get into camp and then we start losing them like flies. Noticeably, I think a lot of the big injuries we've had in camp are camp players. You know, the UDFA types, the camp players. Almost suggesting almost suggesting they aren't tough enough to deal with our regiment here. So there may be something to it, like the guys who are round 7 guys, undrafted free agents, or are off the street looking for a camp spot. A lot of them get badly hurt, but our main roster don't. So I don't know. I
think that series of Hard Knocks kind of gave people the impression we practiced too hard.
Yeah.
A lot of fighting with the Dolphins when there was that moment, like say, where it made it look like we're out for blood. When we have these joint training camps and we practice too hard, it can't be like that. That's a lot of that was bravado for the TVs. I just can't believe we go out there, like you say, trying to punish one another.
No, and they don't barely play them in pre-season either. So they're doing it in training, but it's not like they're battering them in training, then sending them out there for a full pre-season game as well. Although I don't like. Maybe if we toned down the training a bit and gave them more live reps in pre-season games.
The fact we don't play any of the starters in pre-season, and then we often look slow week 1.
And
that definitely is connected.
And I don't like the joint practices. It feels like the joint practices with us always get too out of hand. I think
they lead to injuries.
They're not conducive because we train really hard. Other teams don't like it. We get involved in fights and they start taking shots at one another. Was it the Giants where we had to stop practicing with them? I think there's 2 teams we've had to stop practicing. I don't like joint drills. I know everyone else loves them because they say it gets them into game shape, but I don't think they're a good idea. Because we have had injuries come through those as well, because they get too physical. At least when you're in your own building with your own players, you can keep it within reason. Brent says, in the last 5 years, Lions have had the most missed games due to injury. Can't all be bad luck. I do think there is a degree of the Lions stick with too many injured players for too long. I think we can agree on that. There are too many, Mosley, we lasted for 3 years, we gave Mosley, which was ridiculous, which was too long. Davenport, we've given 2 years, which was too long. Rakestraw, we've given 2 years, we should cut bait with him and leave now, because we've wasted 2 years on him and he's given us nothing. We hang on to a lot of injury-prone players, and then they all get hurt, and then we're down people. We need to have more durable players on the roster. I think that's where we can help. I don't think it's the training, I think it's the personnel we keep on the team. We keep too many who are injury prone just because they might get good this year.
And they're cheap.
Yeah, and they're cheap. And, I think one of the beat writers said the other day, it's one of the best ways to do it, get them cheap, and they go on to be successful here. The only person I can think of who has been seriously injured and has come back and done something good for this team is J-Mo. And J-Mo was a first-round pick, and he was already injured before the draft.
Who was the last free agent we bought in on a nothing deal?
On a cheap.
Injured, and proved us right and extended.
Nobody. Not a single one. I don't think it works. But the trouble is our roster's full of them sometimes because we paid a lot of young guys a lot of money and we've got to skimp a little bit. So, I think we could do better having better personnel on the roster in terms of that, but as for the training, I don't think it's the biggest cause. No, I don't think that's a thing. Again, just look at the injury history. It comes during games, and a lot of it's dirty as well. Davenport's Davenport had his arm chopped in half, which was dirty play. There were a lot of other dirty plays in there as well, low blocks, cut blocks, stuff like that. So, I think there is a lot of bad luck involved. What were we going to do otherwise? The only other thing I was really going to do, because over the course of off-season and pre-season and stuff like that, we do take a look forward to next year's college football season and let you know about some of the players coming back. We do a lot of the top 10 lists for players coming back, so we'll do one of those and then we'll get ourselves out here for today. Because it came across my desk earlier and I thought, we'll talk about it. So we're going to quickly talk about, statistically speaking, some of the better running backs coming back. This is PFF's top 10 here. In terms of the best top 10 running backs coming into college next year, to give you some names to look for in future. So we'll quickly go through these. The honourable mention was Nate Frazier of Georgia. Can't admit I've ever really liked him as a prospect, but did get much better last year. But we're going into the top 10. Number 10 comes in Mark Fletcher Jr. of Miami of Florida. Started since he was a true freshman there. He's coming into his senior year. I'm surprised he didn't declare this year, unless he is No, he is. He's a junior this year. I thought he might have declared this year, but he has gone
I would
back.
have done after a natty.
He's gone back after another season, getting there. 842 rushing yards after contact, 36 explosive runs last year, good for 6th in the country. I mean, we're definitely looking at one of the primo draft prospects in the next cycle with Mark Fletcher, right? Like, he's got an unbelievable amount of production behind him. And when you start as a true freshman, you think you come up as a junior, as a running back, but money talks in the modern NIL money talks in modern college.
Yeah, he's probably going to earn more this year than he would have done his rookie year in the NFL. And that's now going to become a common trend. We're going to see a lot of guys now use their junior year if they've avoided injury, if they can pocket $1.5 million. I suppose all power to them, really. In that sense, it makes sense. And with you, though, a north and south physical power runner. Mark Fletcher is thick with 2 C's. He was incredibly hard to bring down the ACC last year. He does not shy away from contact. I think he's a well put together guy. He was an integral part of that Hurricanes title race too. How many games where, like I say, he kind of just took over, where the passing game wasn't there, and like I say, defenses just could not handle him. Plenty of broken tackles, like I say, strong game, like I say, he's well built together. And we one of the better names to watch out for in the 2027 class. Like I say, I think he's going to be a name to watch. Like I say, hopefully he stays injury free this year. Miami has another. I mean, they're not going to live up to the heights of last year, like I say, but if he's going to put together another 700, 800, 900 yard season, like I say, finish the season, like I say, finish his college career with a strong resume, like I say, if we can avoid any significant injuries, then there won't be too many miles on his clock. He'll be definitely a safer option in the class for next year.
Absolutely, and talking about injuries and guys coming back from that's where you come at number 9 on the list, and the guy who could have been super special, who still can be, Isaac Brown at Louisville. So, everyone remembers this time last year, he had one of the best true freshman seasons in years. An injury limited him to just 100 carries last year, but the numbers he still put up a video game. He averaged 8.8 yards a carry, 5.3 yards after contact, which was second in the FBS amongst running backs, amongst everybody. And he had a 39% forced missed tackle rate, which led every single running back in the Power 4. His average of 7.8 yards per carry was easily the best in college football by a lot last year. And even on a year where he got impeded by injury, Rye, he is special. And if he has an injury-free junior year, you could easily be looking at running back 1 in an upcoming NFL class, whether it be next year or the one after. But there's no denying he's a transcendent next level talent. It's just, is the injury behind him, and is he good to go?
Yeah, like I say, he is explosive. He's got splash plays. He's got home run potential. He plays bigger than he plays. He plays heavier than he plays. Like I say, he's not a guy that is blessed with the physical tools that some of the other guys are. But that does not stop him shying away from contact. Like I say, being difficult to bring down in the open field. And like I say, great in the red zone. Makes himself available in all facets of the game. And can put together, in general, huge amount of scrimmage yard and touchdowns. Doesn't, like I say, pigeon himself in one girl. So yeah, could be a great weapon at the next level. Like I say, in multiple concepts. Like I say, where he's comfortable out the backfield, ball in his hands, but more than happy, like I say, take the carries. Where you'd say Mark Fletcher is more of a power runner. Like I say, maybe doesn't have the finesse to always be such a passing threat out the backfield.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like him. I'm hoping that we get sort of the 2024 guy back next year if he is able to stay healthy. But yeah, it's already, this guy's at number 9, so this is kind of just going to show what this class is looking like going forward. At number 8, we've got a guy coming off a tremendously underrated true freshman season given where he's at. You've got Bo Jackson of Ohio State. Now, he was a true freshman last year who got dumped up to number 1 on the chart, the running back chart. Obviously, no Quinshon Judkins or Travian Henderson having to start for the defending national champions. And as much as I hate Ohio State, the more I watched him, the more I really began to like him. He had a 1,000-yard season, 6 touchdowns, had a couple of hundred receiving yards as well, had nearly 1,300 yards from scrimmage in his first year. Another after contact, 720 of the yards were after contact. 36 explosive runs again. Really good hands as a receiver. And just another one, right, out of this Ohio State system, showed so much promise as a true freshman this year. You feel if he develops again, he's always going to be on a good team. But, this may be the best running back in the Big Ten this year, potentially, given what he's done.
Yeah. The case of, talent, opportunity, as more of, their main tight end leaves, another star receiver leaves. They're going to have options, to get the ball down, run, be physical to help, the receiving freshman receivers coming in and the established ones on the depth chart. So, initiating a run a little earlier in the season or earlier in the games is going to be big for him. But it's always a good offensive line. It's a well-coached team. He's going to have all the opportunities in the world to follow in fantastic footsteps. Should be one of the best sophomores in the country next year. And you could wind up being the best back in the Big Ten.
Absolutely, he could. He comes in at number 8. At number 7, we've got another true sophomore this year who had a breakout true freshman year last year. You got Nate Shepard at Duke. Only a 3-star recruit coming out of high school, but he was immediately thrust into that lineup with Darian Mensah and co. that won the ACC. And no, they lost it, didn't they? No, they won. They won the ACC, didn't they?
They won.
Yeah, they won it. Yeah, excuse me. But yeah, 6th amongst all fullbacks in the nation, in running backs in wins above average metric. He was 8th in PFF grade, 1,132 yards for the true freshman, forcing 63 missed tackles on the season, which was 9th in the country. He also was 6th when it came to receiving yards amongst all running back in the nation. He had 300 receiving yards as well, so he racked up basically a 1,500 yard season in that Duke offense, which now has no Darian Mensah, has no Cooper Barcarte on there. This is going to be the star of the show there, Ryan. You would fancy him to do well on this Duke team this year, protecting whoever plays for them. I think the quarterback sitches up in the air with eligibility, so potentially a huge year here for Nate Shepard.
Yeah, this kid won't be 20 until August. He has got youth exonerated, and I mentioned with you, they're going to take a serious step back at quarterback this year. Replacing Mensah is just not going to happen. Someone is going to come in and just not be as able to command the offense like he did. 200 carries this year. That number is going to greatly increase. He's going to be looking at 240, 250, 260. He's going to be looking somewhere between 250 and 300 if he plays his cards right. And I don't think that 5.7 average will drop that much. If it stays above 4.95, the kid's on flight, a 1.5K rushing season just alone. He is going to be the focal point of a Duke's offense that, yes, it overachieved last year. The whole team did, but this guy's going to be the benefactor of this year. Purely because they're going to look to him and say, yeah, we don't know what we're going to get out of our quarterbacks this year. We know what you are going to do. It's a decent offensive line. We're going to have to put more pressure on you and a bigger workload on you. I hope, he gobbles it up and takes advantage of it.
Indeed. Grandeyes is in the building. He says, Ant, can you see my comments question? This is the first comment of yours I've seen. So if you've put any other comments before that and I've missed them, then just re-put them in again. But I can see that comment that you've put. But I've not seen any questions from you beforehand. Number 6, we're getting into some of the real good ones here. And this, I just love the system and the team. They pump out running backs for fun. This is a senior this year, and by word, I think he's going to have a good one. LJ Martin of BYU. He was decently productive through his first 2 years at BYU, but last year was incredible. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, 1,300 rushing yards on the year, nearly 900 yards after contact, 56 forced missed tackles on the year. This guy, when you talk about a running back being a bowling ball, a guy who you just fly and you let him go and all the pins before him topple, like LJ Martin is the guy, and this is just coming from a long lineage 1,000-yard running backs who are tough, physical, aggressive, thrive in the NFL. And I know he's going to be a bit older, having come back for a year. I'm surprised he didn't declare, but when he does get to the NFL, he's going to be highly coveted if he has a season like this again.
Yeah, I'm not surprised he returned. I don't think he'll be happy how the season ended for him and BYU. Like I say, prematurely, but yeah. This guy, like I say, is the equivalent of, like I say, trying to tackle a bloody Dodge truck. The guy is built like a Ford, 6'2", 220. Like I say, he's got the legs like Saquon Barkley. He's got big, broad shoulders. Like I say, he's a physical, hard to bring down. Not the most elusive, but like I say, he doesn't shy away from contact. Like I say, he's very happy to run between the tackles. Like I say, he's powerful. He looks to, like I say, go through guys. He punishes people at the next level if they take bad angles. Like I say, a guy that can break away and cause explosive plays. Like I say, if your tackling technique is not up to him. Like I say, had a really strong year this year. Like I say, unfortunately, like I say, am I right in thinking, did he miss the Big 12 title game?
Possibly. I know he was
I'm sure he was injured.
I know he was banged up at one point. Not too bad, but yeah, I know,
like you say, yeah, he did struggle, like you say, at some points this season. Like you say, he had a patch where he had some niggling injuries, but had some absolutely massive standout performances this year. Like you say, one of the names to watch is, like you say, primary power back going into the next class, definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love him. I can't wait for him to come up to the draft. We'll see with him, but he is really good. And then we get into the top 5, and another where the lineage from a smaller school of running backs is strong, and you immediately take note of these guys. You've got the true junior at Rutgers. Antoine Raymond was the backup for Kyle Monangai in 2024, but still managed to rush for nearly 500 yards and 8 touchdowns. But he got the gig last year. He went from 100 carries to 244 carries for 1,241 yards, 13 touchdowns. He had 18 receptions as well, had a couple of touchdowns there. 1,500 yard season from scrimmage, going at over 5 yards a click, 15 touchdowns. On a team that kind of regressed last year, right? We were a little disappointed with them. It's not always the best offensive line and that in the world. Like Kyle Monangai, who you've seen is succeeding in the NFL now. He's got smarts. He's got that ability to kind of do it himself. And you look at Antoine Raymond and you're like, yeah, I see that with this guy as well. There's an NFL future for him, for damn sure. Probably going to get picked quite high, providing he carries on producing like this. He looks just as special as what Kyle Monangai did.
Yeah, like you say, the difference between 2024 and 2025 is vast. Like you say, he was asked to essentially nearly triple his workload, and he increased the averages, the touchdowns. Like I say, he took some serious wear and tear in 2025 behind, like I say, an O-line that he's not particularly good. He made a lot of those plays himself. Like I say, he escaped, he's slippery. Like I say, he managed to extend plays where they wasn't always there. Shown, like I say, reliable pass catch as well at the backfield with a nice 12 yards per catch. So I'd expect them to look at that going forward this year. But yeah, probably the most well-rounded of the list last year. Big season incoming for him. As you said, Rutgers probably not going to be any better this year again, which tells me they're going to lean on this kid again. Probably give him another 200 to 250 carry season, which will put him in a position to have the production of just 2 years wear and tear to be a strong contender for a healthy day 2 selection. And a Canadian native, I expect him to be picked very high in the CFL draft as well. Like I say, as a premier running back, being a Canadian, so I expect he's going to be very coveted on both sides of the North American border next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He might even transfer to an even bigger school, give himself one, kind of like Jameer Gibbs.
Like I say, he's got the option to another stellar year next year. He could very well return for his junior year in 2027. Like I say, maybe become a top 40 draft pick.
Kind
maybe
of
even do himself the world of good.
Kind of like what Jahmyr Gibbs did his time at Georgia Tech and then spent 1 year at Alabama and then bang, bit of boom, bit of bang, got it to a big career with the Lions. But yeah, certainly would expect big things of him. So that's Antoine Raymond of Rutgers at 5. Then at number 4, we get into some of the really special guys. We've got Jaden Bohr out of Florida. Good true freshman year for him. Ran for over 600 yards, 7 touchdowns. Upped that last year as a true sophomore. 1,170 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's got 15 rushing touchdowns in his career. Nearly 2,000 rushing yards on 353 carries. Also good year as a receiver last year. 33 receptions, 2 touchdowns as well. He's been the man for Florida through this. And again, Florida disappointed us greatly this year, but Jaden Bohr, despite all that, just kept chugging away, performing really well, whilst DJ Lagway kind of faltered, and they had that problem there. I think hopefully this year there's a bit more stability for him to work with to properly shine, but he's been fantastic in his first 2 years, and he does possess those elite traits you look for at the next level as well. He was a highly rated recruit, a lot of hype about him, and he's filling it for the most part so far.
Yeah, like I say, he's just unfortunate that he's on a team that has failed to live up to any remote expectations. He's also had to deal with wildly inconsistent quarterback play, but that's not stopped him from at least doing his job. O-line, not the best. He's not had to work with the best start in college football. That's not stopped him last year. Been incredibly productive, like I say. Good on the ground. But like I say, did the damage to the air. Every time I caught a pass, it went for over 6 yards. Like I say, 33. Like I say, a lot of that out the backfield. A lot of that was like DJ Lagway kind of panicking, scrambling. But Jaden Bohr, like I say, making himself available, being the quarterback's best friend. Like I say, doing incredibly well. Like I say, I don't expect Florida to be all that much better this year. I don't expect that to stop him having a great year. He's definitely leaving Florida after this year. They're going to stunt his growth. Like I say, get out of Gainesville. And like I say, get a big time transfer in 2027, and then hopefully we'll see the ceiling. I just feel we're not going to see how good he can be while he's a Gator even this year.
Yeah, that would be the only thing. Again, more team sort of upheaval there, but hopefully they find him the perfect situation to work in. We will see. But that is Jaden Bohr at 4. Very quickly, Brent says, did you all do a review of running backs in the upcoming draft? Wondering what your thoughts were on Washington Jr. We haven't yet. Obviously, Combine is to come and bits. We do our top 5s to come.
I don't really like the class. That's my high level take.
Oh well, there you go.
I'm not super high on it.
Ryan's high level. Well, there's bloody Jeremiah Love, and then it's a free for all of who's next. Like, you know, there's so much there. But we'll do our top 5 lists closer the time when we've got more data put together and we've kind of finalised our things about them. Because at the minute,
that's going to be hard.
We're still quite far out at the minute. You're still, obviously there's Combine and stuff, we don't really, but some measurements for some guys may influence things a little bit here and there. So generally when the Combine's done, we start doing our final rankings for them. So we will do a proper one for you, Brent.
Ranking 5 quarterbacks in this class.
Just spin the bottle. Put all the names in an eye, spin the bottle, or throw the names in a hat and pick from them. Who knows? That would be really tough. We're into the top 3 now. Top 3 running backs coming back next year, and you could probably interchange. Well, you could maybe interchange 2 or 3. Probably not 1, Ryan, although 1 is already. But number 3, weirdly enough, the only transfer on this list. And you know instantly who we're talking about here. Caleb Hawkins of Oklahoma State, looking to re-establish that lineage that was broken after the Ollie Gordon years. But obviously the North Texas transfer followed Eric Morris to Oklahoma State. Just put up video game numbers last year as a true freshman. He was insane. 25 rushing touchdowns. He had 1,056 rushing yards after contact. That wasn't even his true number. He had over 1,000 yards after contact. 370 receiving yards as well, which was 7th amongst every running back in the country at any level. I mean, he's just... Again, right, he's just put up video game numbers last year at North Texas in the American, which is a tough conference. Like, it's what makes it even tougher. Now, we know Oklahoma State can produce them. He's in that system. He's with his head coach. Is he going to reestablish that lineage that comes out of the Cowboys? But you look at him play and you're like, he's a Power 4 player. If he goes out there as another 1,000-yard year at Oklahoma State, then you're talking about a serious player in that 28 draft.
See, I find it hard with this name because I have to separate what he's done and what I think he can do from, like, say, an offensive juggernaut that was just all-out offense to a team that really is struggling. As you say, has had nice success in recent years with running backs, like you say, did a great job, like say, Chuba Hubbard and guys like that, like say, got them to the pro. But, I don't know. Do we look back in 12 months' time and think he went with his heart when he should have gone with his head and it's a disaster? Maybe. Can this guy outrun an offensive line that has struggled to keep anything clean in recent seasons? I think he'll put last year he was an absolute game changer. He was given the freedom, basically, like you say, to do what he wanted in such a creative offense that created so many opportunities to showcase home run speed, soft touch hands, like you say, physical, like you say, happy to run through the gaps and stretch plays towards the sidelines. Complete back in every sense of the word. And now we're going to see, when things don't go his way, just how good he can be, like you say, in a team that, has lost its way completely. They are one of the most disappointing teams right now in the Power 4, the FBS. And he's hoping to be the man that saves them. But if he can turn it around and do it here, the kid will do it anywhere.
Oh, God, yeah.
If he can salvage the Cowboys into a credible Big 12 team or put up some game-changing numbers here, then like I say, the sky will be the limit for him.
Yeah, you might expect him to go somewhere like Bama or all that afterwards. Just spend 1 year there, ball out, then...
Like I say, the kid's got no attachment other than Eric Morris. Go out and have a tremendous year. The NIL will be very hard to ignore.
And Big 12 running backs can get drafted very high. You can do your draft stock no end of good there. So
I could see him leaving Oklahoma State after a year and still staying in the Big 12, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely there. And then
He'd look pretty good in maroon and orange. Like their running backs.
He would, wouldn't he? He would. I bet you'd love that. There you would. So we got the top two now. And at number 2, we've got the ultimate workhorse, the workhorses of all workhorses, Kejuan Lacey of Ole Miss. And I must admit, I did a 180 on him. I wasn't sold after that little bit of stuff he did in his first year at Missouri and the start of his Ole Miss career, but he was the reason that team did as well as it did last year. 307 carries he had on the year, 1,564 rushing yards, second in the FBS, 1,010 yards after contact, 89 forced missed tackles, which I think was third in the nation, just to go with 24 rushing touchdowns, and they used him as a receiver as well. There were games last year, I think it was the Kentucky one, they were struggling to win. They nearly lost it, and it was only down to Kejuan Lacey and that tough running style of his. They were able to win, and there were, to my knowledge, at least 2 or 3 games I think they would have lost without him in that lineup. He went from 23 carries in his first year, at Missouri, to 307 last year. Like, he just threw himself into the scrum over and over and over and over, and he did not break. He was the ultimate Iron Man in college last year, and you figure Ole Miss are going to lean very heavily on him again, but I mean, he had a hell of a season, and quite rightfully. You take over 300 carries and do that production, you're going to be high on these lists.
Oh yeah, like I said, and for such a young player that was relatively inexperienced, like I say, it was for me the big moments at the end of the season. Like I said, took 33 carries in the playoffs, 200 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He came up clutch, like I say, at home at Georgia, and then having to go to Miami. Obviously, they fell short, but for such a young player that was not used to such a heavy workload, for them to go out, like you say, in a Sugar Bowl and a playoff first game, said, we're going to have to rely on you. Like you say, we're going to have to be moving the ball on the ground. And like you say, give him a huge workload like that, and him to respond in such a respected and veteran presence like that, and put the team on his back when it mattered the most. I was very impressed by that. So, yeah, like I say, and then you say adding Tulane, like I say, chipped him with 15 carries. So you're talking, like I say, nearly 50 carries just in the playoffs alone. Like I say, he had a tremendous postseason for a player that, like I say, would have never expected to see such a large workload in the biggest games Ole Miss has played in best part of a decade. And the future is incredibly bright for this young man. Like I say, Pete Golden is going to lean on him very heavily this year.
Yeah. If anything, they need to just ease him up a little bit with him. Like 300 carries a year is just, you don't really want that. And you can't
do the running, mate.
And he can't declare this year because he didn't meet freshman, so he's only going to technically be a redshirt sophomore this year, so he's got 2 years to go at least yet. He's on course for 1,000 carries over his college career in 3 years, which is crazy, but I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I really do like him. And then at number 1...
Can I guess who number 1 is?
No, because I know obvious? Who you know. I know who you know is. You've been obsessed with him. Is it the school
K1 Lacey used to be at?
You've been obsessed with him, since he entered college football. Yes, you're right. It's Ahmed Hardy, the Missouri running back, who is at number 1. And you talk about putting up video game numbers. Like his Louisiana Monroe season was good. He was a war hawk, and everyone went, how is he going to adjust to the SEC? A lot of guys who do that take a year, and then they get good in the SEC. He didn't. He led the nation in rushing yards with 1,648. He led the nation in yards after contact with 1,181. He led the Power 4 in forced missed tackles with 96. He has, in his 2 years, he's only a true junior, 2,994 rushing yards. Basically, let's just call it 3,000 for all intents and purposes. The next closest running back is not within 400 yards of him. There is no one active in college football this year who was within 400 yards of him in the last 2 years. His PFF number breaks all records, right? But you kind of saw what he was about at ULM, and Sunbelt's a tough conference. It's a very physical conference. You're up against a lot of big, dirty, nasty linemen. It's tough to get your yards after contact in that conference. And he came to Missouri and just said, that running back one spot's mine, and Christ alight, you just can't tackle him. Like, he gets going, it takes 2, 3, 4 guys every single time. He very rarely goes down on the first tackle. You use the word transcendent. I think transcendent is a perfect adjective for him. He could come to the NFL next year and he could be up at, 4.5, nearly 5,000 scrimmage yards in 3 years. That's just Madden numbers.
Yeah. Like I say, no waiting around. Another great year. Top 10 pick next year. Like I say, the path's been written for him. Like I said, the kid is going to make a serious amount of money, and he is going to be head and shoulders the better running back in his class. Like I said, I'd feel way comfortable. I'd be happy to take him as the first running back this year ahead of Jeremiah Love. Like I say, he has made the transition from the Sun Belt to the SEC look like child's play, and yeah, there are no weaknesses to his game right now. He's young, he's got plenty in the tank, not to deal with any niggles. He's carried a team that. Yeah, it ain't great. It ain't going to be much better this year, like I say, but he is going to be an absolute workhorse and give everything out there and keep them competitive as long as he can. Like I say, the kids are like a bar of soap. He is impossible to bring down. He will be aiming for 100 missed tackles this year. That will be the figure he set himself. Triple figures, he's going to make triple guys miss. Like I say, he is so incredibly elusive. Like I say, he keeps the legs pumping. Like you say, he breaks tackles. He makes guys, like you say, just grab thin air. Like you say, he's just like a ghost. It's like catching fog. Yeah. Like you say, he knows, like you say, he'll go out there, whatever he does next year. Like you say, he will be walking out of NFL fields this time, like you say, in 18 months. Yeah. He's probably, Tigers aren't going to have much more success than they did last year. Like to keep their QB situation a little bit healthier. But there's no need for him to stay around after next year, transfer and try win anything. Don't risk the injury. Like I said, don't have to win a lot of games in college football to be a star.
No, I don't mind true juniors declaring for the NFL. Like you say, their lifespan in the NFL is shorter, so go while you're younger, get the money while you can.
the more you'll do.
Yeah, the more money you'll make. So, go for it. Go for it. Absolutely get it out of the way. So those, and it's the first of the top 10s for college next year, your running backs to keep an eye out for. So from 10 through 1, you got Mark Fletcher Jr. at Miami, Isaac Brown of Louisville, Bo Jackson of Ohio State, Nate Shepard of Duke, LJ Martin of BYU, Antoine Raymond of Rutgers, Jaden Bow of Florida, Caleb Hawkins of OK State, Kewan Lacey of Ole Miss, and Ahmed Hardy of Missouri. I think we can safely say
anyone
from
that's
that
missed?
List.
Anyone we could put in?
Who am I thinking of off the top of my hand? I don't.
An honourable mention.
Well, Nate Frazier was the honourable mention there, but I'm trying to think who would go in this year. Who was followed?
I mean, if I use some recency bias, if I think about Raleek Brown, now
Christ.
going to Texas.
Yeah, and his running mate at Texas, our defector, Hollywood Smothers.
Them two might be the best tandem in the country.
I think
Raleek is the hammer. Smothers, like you say, is at the agility.
Yeah, he's, like you say, one's the hammer,
like
one's the nail,
Brown
you bust
had
it open.
1,150 yards, but he only did it on 180 carries because he split a workload, so he was super productive. I think he could have an absolute monster here at Texas. That's a huge loss for ASU. No,
it is. Although they look like they've got a good bunch with them this year. So obviously they've all been injured, haven't they?
Like you say, one of the Texas backs is just going to absolutely storm it out there. Collectively, they're going to be maybe the best unit.
You see, who I would put in here, I thought maybe because he didn't have the 1,000-yard season there, but I think Jordan Davison looks like a star at Oregon. He looks an absolute. I know he's with he's splitting with De'Aaron Hill Jr. They probably might be one of the best tandems in the country this year. The pair of them, they are both absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Cam Cook's gone to West Virginia. Cam Cook's been the statistically best running back in the nation in terms of his yardage. So he might be able to do it at the power level.
If anyone's going to play for, if anyone's going to come back from injury and take it, I mean, Desmond Reed.
Yeah, Desmond Reed had his injuries last year.
Like I say, had the injury last year that cut him season short, but the year before that was fantastic. So
it was, yeah. I will stick one short one in there. So Cam Edwards, Michigan State running back. I've loved him at UConn for years now. He's statistically one of the best running backs UConn have ever had. If he is able to get something going there with them at Mich State, he will be one of the better running backs in the country. All I know is next class is probably going to be far better than this one. I'm with you. I think this is one of the worst running back classes we've had in some time. That one in a couple of years' time, when Hawkins and Lacey and all those guys are eligible. The one after this, the 28 one, is shaping up to be maybe one of the best running back classes we've ever had as it stands. But obviously 2 years out, injuries can happen, stuff like that. We'll wait and see. But as I say, over the course of the off-season, we'll do a lot more of these top 10 lists and stuff, and obviously we'll have our pre-season teams and everything. Wow. Obviously, that is a long way down the line at this moment in time. So,
by like number one QB returning to college, Sam Levitt, obviously.
I mean, that's, bias. But bit bias in there, right? We can't be having that.
$9 million says he's the best, or whatever he's raking it in.
Well, according to everybody else, Arch Manning is that guy, but personally, I don't think Arch is top 10 this year. He's not show like everyone coming back saying he's number one in the country. I'm just like, what's he shown you? What has he actually shown you to show that he's the best quarterback in the country? I don't know if it's different for you.
I've learned my lesson, and I'm not on the Cade Klubnik train ever again.
What with Clemson? Why? Who's Clemson's signal caller this year? Or is that a reference to somebody else? Oh, you mean as in like been a legacy?
So be interesting to see who wins the Clemson job.
I don't know who is Clemson's QB this year. I have no idea who it's going to be. it does look a little thin. Like, I think is Trinidad probably the best quarterback coming back, right? What Trinidad did?
It's Virginia.
Oh, him.
I think he's the next in line.
Yeah.
He's the junior.
Yeah, they recruit their quarterbacks, don't they? Always recruit their quarterbacks, and they generally don't see the field early because they're waiting behind the next guy. But anywho, we will see. Right, that's just about everything from us today. If there's any other quick questions you want to get in, please do so while I go through all the closing little bits. I've not seen any more comments from you, Grandizer. I went on to Twitter, I went onto YouTube and had a look, and I couldn't find anything that you've put in that I've not seen. So if I've missed anything, I apologise. But if there's anything else there, just put them in the comments below. We'll put them on the show next time. In terms of next shows, probably we'll do another Q&A on Friday. So if you got any questions about anything, come join for that. Main podcast will be next week. It'll all be combine review stuff and that next week. Me and Ryan will be back in a week going over the combine, the winners, the losers, and we'll find something else to put in there as well. With it being scouting season, if there's anyone you want us to look at in depth, anything like that, let us know. We'll do some stuff on Washington Junior, Brent, for you. But yeah, you know us, we're there, ready and available. I think that is about everything today. No more questions in there. Anything else you want to quickly get out the way, Ryan, before we go? Or are you all good?
Yeah. Lions are going to Germany.
Oh, yeah, we can quickly talk about that. Du sprechen Deutschen. Hopefully we're going to see lots of you over here. I mean, worst possible time for me, having just been made redundant, but I'm like, Christ, hopefully I get a job quick enough and I can get my money up to go. I will go one way or another.
I've got 2 kidneys.
I've got 2 kidneys, that is right. For the cause, right? I will swim to Germany if need be there. But hopefully, if some of you are coming over to Germany, let us know. Even if we can't get into the game, we'll tailgate somewhere and do something.
Yeah, I've said whether I get a ticket or not. I've already booked 2 unreserved hotels. We all just go and watch it in a pub.
Yeah, we'll pick
a big meet up in the square, like say, and have an official meet up.
Well, we'll do a tailgate regardless. We'll be doing a Roar of the Lions UK tailgate. Whether it's before, during, or after, depending on the ticket sitch, we don't know, but we will be there. So hopefully some of you make the trip across to see us, and we can all enjoy some bratwurst and some proper beer together. We'll get you all sorted. You'll not want to drink the stuff you drink over there when we're done with you. So, yeah, Lions coming to Germany. That is going to be a good one. Hopefully a good opponent. Rumoured to be the Giants, which I wouldn't mind. And for Ryan, that's interesting switch for you, right? Because your last Lions game was at MetLife, Giants, Lions, and now maybe that might be your next Lions game.
I'm hoping this game will be warmer.
Why? How warm? Was it really cold when you went over there? Oh, mind you went in like December, didn't you?
It was like November.
Oh, God. Yeah, it'll be a lot warmer here.
It was chilly.
It'll be a lot warmer here, or it should be by that time of year. Germany's generally not too bad by and large, but anywho, we'll end it on that. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. We shall see you whenever we are next back. But thank you for being in here as always. We really appreciate you. Enjoy Combine Week. Don't get too drawn in by all the hot takes and the guys that didn't think Shorty's terrible. Watch the tape and keep with your views from that. We'll see you all again very soon. One Pride, worldwide.